Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss real-life stories like mine. And leave your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you'd do if this happened to you. I still remember the text vividly. It was late, almost midnight, and my phone buzzed with a simple message from my wife. I might be late. Don't wait up. I frowned. That wasn't unusual in itself. She often stayed late for work. But something about the tone felt off. There was a detachment I couldn't place. A weight behind her words I didn't understand. I told myself I was overthinking it and went to bed, hoping she'd come home soon. The next day I tried to shake the unease. I asked casually, "Did the work celebration go well last night?" She smiled a little too brightly. "Yeah, it was fun. You know, the usual speeches, dancing, drinks." I nodded, but something felt wrong. She kept checking her phone, her laughter at messages just a little too loud, a little too practiced. I brushed it off at first. I wanted to believe her, to trust her. But that gnawing feeling in my chest wouldn't let me. Over the next week, the signs stacked up quietly, almost imperceptibly. Calls she didn't answer. Texts she claimed were from clients, that she hid from me when I glanced over. Sudden changes in plans. Excuses that didn't add up. I found myself second-guessing every interaction, questioning my own judgment. Then it happened, what I will never forget. I was going through the laundry, putting away her work clothes, when a folded napkin fell from her blazer pocket. On it, scribbled hastily, were notes, but not for work. Names, numbers, and phrases that made my stomach churn. Dinner at his place. Don't let him see me leaving. Need to be alone with him. I didn't want to believe it. I folded the napkin carefully, telling myself I must be imagining things. But the doubt had already planted itself deep inside, growing roots that refused to be shaken. That evening I tried to talk to her. I asked gently, cautiously, "Was there anything last night at the celebration I should know about?" She laughed, a sharp, nervous sound. "What are you talking about? Nothing happened. I told you it was just drinks and dancing." But her eyes betrayed her. She avoided mine, and the smile didn't reach them. My chest tightened as I felt a mix of anger, fear, and heartbreak. I wanted to push, to demand the truth, but part of me feared what I would find if I did. A few days later, my curiosity overcame me. I looked at her phone, something I swore I'd never do, and there it was, plain as day. Photos from the celebration. Not casual snapshots of coworkers laughing, but images of her and her boss, too close, too intimate. One picture made my stomach drop entirely. Him wrapping his arm around her waist, pulling her close, her hand resting on his chest. And worse, her eyes were laughing, the kind of laughter I had never shared with her. I couldn't breathe. I sat on the couch, staring at the phone, feeling a combination of disbelief and betrayal I couldn't process. All the small lies, all the work dinners and late nights, suddenly formed a pattern I couldn't ignore. When I confronted her, I expected denial, excuses, maybe even anger. Instead, she sighed, almost wearily, and said, "I didn't hide it because I thought it was wrong. I just didn't think it mattered. You trust me, don't you?" Her words cut deeper than any accusation ever could. She didn't seem ashamed. She seemed justified. "Let him?" I asked, my voice shaking. "You let him do this?" She nodded slowly. "I didn't stop him. But it wasn't forced. I could have left, but I didn't." I felt like the ground had dropped beneath me. My mind spun, searching for answers, for explanations, for some way to make sense of the betrayal. But there was none. Only raw, unfiltered reality staring back at me. The person I loved, the person I trusted completely, had allowed someone else to cross a line I didn't even know existed. The following weeks were hell. Every memory of her now carried a sting. I replayed small moments in my head. The way she leaned into me at dinner last month. The laughter we shared on weekends, the little touches that once felt intimate and safe. And in every one, I now imagined that same smile, the same hand on someone else. My trust had shattered. My love was entangled with anger, pain, and disbelief. I questioned myself constantly. Had I missed signs? Was I too trusting? Or was this truly her choice, her betrayal, a deliberate act of crossing a boundary I thought was sacred? The emotional weight was suffocating. Eventually, I realized I had to make a decision. Staying in denial was no longer an option. I had to reclaim my life, my dignity, and my sense of self. I confronted her one last time, calmly but firmly. "I can't continue like this. I can't share you with him, or anyone. I tried to trust, I tried to accept, but I can't. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to us. She looked at me, a mixture of surprise and sadness. I thought you'd understand. I understand, I said, my voice breaking slightly. I understand what you've done. And I understand I have to walk away from it to survive. I left that night, quietly packing a bag and stepping into the cold air outside. There was no dramatic shouting, no slamming doors, no cinematic finality, just the quiet hum of reality settling around me. I drove aimlessly, letting the hurt wash over me, feeling the mixture of relief and sorrow that comes from reclaiming control over your own life. The days that followed were filled with reflection. I allowed myself to grieve not just for her but for the version of us that I had believed in. I revisited old memories, separating what was real from what had been constructed, what had been honest from what had been half-shared. And slowly I began to understand something crucial. Betrayal doesn't define you. Pain doesn't have to imprison you. Choosing to respect yourself, even when it means leaving the person you love, is a form of courage that no one can take away. I still think of her sometimes. I remember her smile, her laughter, the warmth of her hand in mine. And I also remember the moment I discovered what she let happen. The day I learned that trust, once broken, cannot be casually mended. But those memories no longer hold me hostage. They serve as reminders, not prisons. In the end, the most powerful lesson I learned was simple. Love is meaningful only when it is mutual, complete, and honest. Anything less is a compromise of your own worth. And no one should have to accept less than they deserve.